please have whoever's taller in your group read this problem out loud. If you're on your own, just read it to yourself quietly. The front of a camping tent can be modeled by the following function, where x and y are measured in feet, and the x-axis represents the ground. Graph the function on a graphing calculator, then identify, so give me what is the domain and range, and then interpret it. What does it mean in terms of the context of this problem? Okay, back up here, please. In almost every period yesterday, we attempted this problem, and it's more important that you understand how to interpret the graph than how to get the actual graph in the graphing calculator. But my goal today is to try to do both. So here's what you're going to do. If you fall behind, you just put your calculator down. That tells me that you are lost right now with calculator operations, and you just look up on the board. Are you ready? Can everybody hit the plus sign on your calculator? The plus, excuse me. Start with the second. It's the blue key. Hit the blue, then hit the plus sign, then hit 712. You should see this. Quick check with your partner. Do you have the same thing? If you did it right, it will say this. As a reminder, the only people I want to talk in right now are the people that are talking with Ms. Botello. Now I'm going to plug this in. How do I plug in this equation? Go up to the y equals and press it. And now the key is this is not a subtract sign. This is a negative sign. So the negative sign is found below the 3. Negative 1.4. Now I need to find the absolute value. So to find that, I'd like you to find the math button on the left-hand side. Math is on the left-hand side. Hit it one time. We need to move what is currently shaded in black to number. So we're going to use this arrow and go to the right once. Now absolute value is highlighted and I press enter. Okay, now I am going to type in x subtract 2.5 and I have to do end parenthesis. And if you need to use the cursor to go on the other side of the parenthesis, that's fine. And now do plus 3.5. Let's predict what this is going to look like. This is going to be an absolute value function. That means we're going to have a v going up or a v going down. A v going up or a v going down. Turn to your partner. Will this absolute value be going up or down? Up? Down. Tell your partner, what is it? The answer is down. Now who can tell you why is it actually opening down? Because it's a negative number in front of the absolute value. Okay, hit graph. Now I'm guessing yours does not look like this. Am I correct? Or does yours look like this? Yes, no? It does. Awesome. Okay. So here's our tent. I know we talked about this yesterday. We want to figure out this exact point. This is an x-intercept. There's more than one word for x-intercept. You're going to learn that this year. So to find this exact point, can you do me a favor and first hit the blue button one time? Then go up across the very top and find the word that says trace. Hit it one time. Another word for x-intercept is 0. Scroll down to 0 and press enter one time. Just so I know how many of you are at this point, hands up high. It's a decent number. Okay, now use this arrow and I want you to continue to move it to the right until you go just slightly above the x-axis, because that's to the left of the x-axis. This is to the left of this x-intercept. Excuse me, this is to the left of this x-intercept. So somewhere to the left of the x-intercept and press enter one time. Oh no. Let me do that again because I messed up. Okay, then it gives you directions for right bound, which means go below the x-axis, which is somewhere to the right of this x-intercept. Press enter one time. Now it tells you to guess what's in between. So use the cursors and go back right over the top of the x-axis and press enter one time. By a raise of hands, how many of you have this, just so I know where we are? Hands up high. Not bad, about 10 of us. Okay, so let's draw a little picture, please. Draw a little picture. extra talking, please, as we go through this. Thank you. So it says at the front of the camping tent, this is the front of the tent. So like the width of the tent, your width of this tent is 5 feet long. In terms of its domain goes from left to right. It is touching at 0 and it's touching at 5. Because it's touching, it's from 0 to 5. It includes 0 and 5. That's why we have brackets. The range describes the height from the ground up to this highest point. Here we go back. We're going to do something new here. I want to know this maximum point. So to find the exact maximum, please hit the blue button, which is the second key. Go to the very top and find trace once again. Go down to maximum and press enter 1 time. Okay, now use these arrows to go back and find the highest point. Do not press enter. Where is it to the left of the highest point? To the left is somewhere right in that area. And press enter 1 time. Now the directions say go to the right of the highest. So somewhere to the right of the highest, press enter 1 time. Now go up to the highest point, guess where the highest point is, and press enter 1 time. So what is the height? Is the height 2.5 or 3.5? Tell your partner. Which one represents height, X or Y? Y. So this height is 3.5 feet. So your range, it goes from the ground, we include the ground, up to 3.5. It asks you to interpret. So in terms of words, if you've already done this, fine. If you haven't, words. The width of the front of the tent is 5 feet. The height of the tent is 3.5 feet. That would be interpreting. This would be identifying the domain and range. All right, flip the paper over. I'm going to ask one more time for less talking, unless you're talking to Ms. Botello. All right, please start by hitting the blue key. Then find the plus sign. And type in 712. Please read this problem to yourself. A boy band's new singles released, weekly sales in thousands, that's the key, they're in thousands, increased steadily for a while and then decreased given by this function where T is time in weeks. So this is time in weeks, and S is sales in thousands. So we're used to seeing X and Y. So if you prefer to think of this as X and Y so it's less confusing for you when you plug it into the graphing calculator, feel free to write that down if that simplifies it for you. So our X's act like the T in terms of weeks, and our Y's are going to be substituted for the S in terms of sales. All right, please hit Y equals. Now is this V shape for the absolute value going to open up or down? Down. Okay, there's just still a lot of talking going on in back. Okay, so right here, let's start with the -2. Negative is below the 3, so -2. Now to get the absolute value, please hit the word math on the left-hand side. Math is on the left-hand side. Hit it 1 time. Then go across the top using arrows to NUM. And now absolute value is abbreviated. Press enter 1 time. Type in X subtract 20. The X is found on towards the top. X subtract 20. And end parenthesis. Some of you may need to use an arrow to get out of the absolute value. If you have a newer calculator, you may need to use an arrow to get out of the absolute value. And we're going to follow this with a plus 40. Remember, we're going to have an upside down absolute value function. It's reflecting across the x-axis. Please hit graph. So this is part of the absolute value, but do you see how it's not high enough and it's not to the right? Does everybody see how I can't see the entire function? So I need to move this to the right and I need to move it up. And so I'm just going to estimate. I need to move it to the right and to the up. Can everybody hit Windows? It's on the top. Windows. Hit it one time. Windows. Go down to X maximum. We need to move this to the right. And I'm just going to guess right now. I don't know the answer. I'm just going to guess. Let's try 50. And then please go to Y maximum. I need to move it up so I can see the top, the vertex of the absolute value. So type in 50. I can always plug it back in and change in the windows if this is not a good window. Hit graph when you're done. Can you now see the function? Okay, go back and ask yourself, what is this question asking? Look back in the problem. The maximum. Okay, so is this maximum, is this an X or Y value that describes the maximum? I want to know the Y, so please write down, find Y. We want to find the Y value of the maximum. So to do that, here we go. We're going to hit the blue key one time. Blue key one time. Then go up top and hit trace one time. Blue key one time and trace one time. Go down until you hit maximum and press enter. Okay, so we need to follow the directions. We want to go left of the highest point. So use the arrow and go somewhere just slightly to the left. And press enter once. And now the directions say go slightly to the right. So use the arrow, go up and over the top and slightly to the right. And press enter one time. And now go to the very peak here, the very, very top. It says to guess, and you're going to press enter one time. Yours may say like 19.9999 or 39.999, but who has this answer? Very impressed. Now here's the key. What does this answer mean? Tell your partner right now. What does this answer mean? Okay, are you ready? Isela, can you tell me what does this mean, both of these? What does X represent? Look up here. So how many weeks?
20.
So on the 20th week, this boy band had 40,000 sales because she took this times thousands. On the 20th week, this boy band had 40,000 sales. Please write that as a sentence on your paper. Nice job. In the 20th week, this boy band had 40,000 sales. All right. So we're going to go over some problems just to check for understanding. The first one is, if I gave you this, please make a very simple XY axis below. And I'm going to time you. It's like ACT. You have 15 seconds. It can be sloppy, but you have 15 seconds to graph this on your very simple graph. Ready? Get set, go. Am I going to move to the right 2 or left 2? Left 2 and down 1. Left 2 and down 1. And then this is a 1 over 1. So it's up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. And then I'm going to reflect it across the line of symmetry. So it's looking like this. Now it says we want to take that and we want to change this. Please listen closely. Instead of it moving upwards like this, we want to reflect it across the x-axis. So instead, it looks like this. I want to know what is the equation of this absolute value function. That is this question with your partner. You have 20 seconds, go. Anthony, what do you believe it is? nice job. So this does not change. I still go to the left 2 and down 1. But then instead of going up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, I'm going down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. Great job, okay? Make sure you know how to do this for a checkpoint quiz. All right, so this is the basic parent function of absolute value. Everything we do goes back to that. And if you're like, how do we graph that again? Okay, I'm not moving left or right or up or down. I'm just going up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1 on both sides. If you were asked to describe the domain, at this level we use domain like this. So what is the domain? Is there any limit how far this goes to the left as it goes up? No, is there any limit how far this goes to the right as it's moving upward? There's no limit how far it moves to the left and right. So we say it goes from negative infinity to positive. And notice that I have parentheses around them because you can't touch an infinity. It's not a number. It just represents an ongoing to the left and ongoing to the right. The range is slightly different. The range is limited. How far down does this current function go in terms of y values? How low does it go? It's right here, correct? It's at 0. Now, is it touching at 0? Yeah, it's touching right there. So we include that 0 because it's touching it. And then there's no limit on how high it goes. So it goes up to positive infinity. You do have to have it correct with parentheses and brackets, and we'll continue to go over those throughout this year. Okay, go down to the next one, please. When writing an equation, what is the difference when you're given this parent function? What is the difference when you write an equation that is going to shift to the left 3 or one that shifts to the right 3? You can verbalize this with your partner. What does it look like if you shift to the left 3? What does it look like if you shift to the right 3? Remember, it lies to you. So when it goes to the left, it's plus 3. When it goes to the right, it's minus 3. Given the graph, the function is shifted 4 to the left and 6 up and reflects across the x-axis. Identify the vertex. So let's just make a very simple graph. And I want you to think of our parent function. Our parent function looks like this, right? Now we're going to take this basic parent function and we're going to move it to the left 4 and up 6, and then we're going to reflect it down so it doesn't open up. Okay, so how do I go to the left? So I'm going to take this point like it had a nail in the vertex. I'm going to go left 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now I'm going to move it up 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my nail that I put in for the vertex is now right here. But instead of it going up, it says it wants to reflect across the x-axis. So now it goes like this. What is the vertex of this point? Tell your partner.